In 1981, the world first had the pleasure to regale in the adventures of Indiana Jones, bringing archaeology to the forefront of entertainment like never before. Fred Hybert, an archaeological fellow at National Geographic, describes the film as the loot and shoot school of archaeology, when in reality much of his job involves paperwork and documentation, not idol stealing and boulder dodging. Like how the Hunger Games acted as a catalyst to making archery one of the fastest growing sports for women in North America, Indiana Jones caused interest in archaeology to spike. I mean, how could it not? Who wouldn't want to explore ancient booby-trapped temples in Peru, or thwart occult hunting Nazis, or seek eternal life with the Holy Grail? According to the American Anthropology Association, following the release of Raiders of the Lost Ark and later its sequels, there was a significant upward trend of students enrolling and around 4 years later graduating with degrees in archaeology and anthropology. This number of graduates would continue to rise as Indiana Jones not only inspired students, but TV, film, and game makers. Soon we would have Tomb Raider, The Mummy remake, Uncharted, and if y'all are cool, you'll remember the best show of all time, Relic Hunter. That's my jam. Tomb Raider was particularly important because it put a strong, awesome woman at its helm in not only a genre that typically doesn't feature female leads, but in an industry traditionally dominated by men. According to Landward Research in 1997, 65% of archaeologists in the UK were male, while the remaining 35% were female. Since, this number has changed significantly, and in 2013, 54% of archaeologists in the UK were male and 46% were female, which is awesome. With 2 Tomb Raider movies and 22 games, if I counted right, and over 45 million units sold worldwide since 1996, Tomb Raider is at the very least a contributor to why women are getting more interested in archaeology, in the same way that Indiana Jones contributed to more people in general getting involved in archaeology years prior. George Lucas, creator of Indiana Jones, was inspired to create the character by matinee serials he listened to as a child, but also by real-life archaeologists in the early 20th century. Roy Chapman Andrews was one of those inspirations. In the early 1900s, he led expeditions into the Arctic, China, Mongolia, discovering dinosaur eggs and mastodon fossils along the way. He even looked like Indy. Hiram Bingham in 1911 discovered the lost Incan city of Machu Picchu, and Sir Leonard Woolley in 1922 was responsible for the excavation of the ancient Sumerian city of Ur in modern Iraq, though none of them likely dealt with the booby traps Indy had to endure. According to Robert Hebert, no archaeologist has come across a booby trap site. Yet. But he does say that in all 5 continents that he's worked on, no matter where it is, whether it's underwater or in the sands of Turkmenistan or the jungles of Honduras, he's always found a den of snakes. Always.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Tomb Raider's Lara Croft was not surprisingly inspired by Indiana Jones, and in early character sketches, she was a he, and he was a ripoff of Indy. That being said, there are plenty of awesome women in archaeology that could have easily inspired the character. In the 1930s, Dorothy Garrett led an almost exclusively female excavation of Mount Carmel, the supposed site of the prophet Elijah's burning altar. Between 1901 and 1905, Dorothy Bate explored the caves and mountains of Cyprus and Crete, discovering fossils that are still on display today in London's Natural History Museum. Around the same time, Harriet Boyd was excavating fossils in the Minoan town of Gournea. And I could go on. There are so many amazing pioneering female archaeologists of that time that I'm sure inspired the creators of Lara Croft. Which is really cool, but what's not cool is actual Tomb Raiders. Excavation began in 2012 on the mysterious Amphipolis tomb, the largest tomb ever discovered in Greece. The tomb dates to the last quarter of the 4th century BC and contains 5 bodies, who are controversially theorized to be Alexander the Great's generals or members of his family. The current excavation, led by Katerina Peristeri, has found that the main vault has been ransacked by tomb raiders, reducing any chance of unlocking the tomb's mysteries. In China, Zhu Lingxia, an archaeologist specialized in ancient tombs, describes her excavations as an emotional roller coaster, and never does her heart sink lower than when she finds an ancient coffin with its lid already pushed to the side. In the past 20 years, over 200,000 ancient graves have been plundered by grave robbers in China alone. This isn't a localized issue, and it happens all over the world, from Bulgaria to Scotland to America and many more. And for good reason. There's good, dirty money in it. Earlier this year, Italian police concluded a 14-year investigation that led to busting Swiss-based tomb raiders with $58 million in stolen antiquities. Egypt has had a huge problem with grave robbers for a really long time. Not only was King Tut's tomb raided at least twice before it was officially discovered in 1922, but since even the 20th dynasty, around 1000 BC, Egyptian tombs were being raided for their valuables. In Russia, there's a group of people called Black Diggers who are digging up World War II battlegrounds in search of fallen soldiers. But instead of selling their possessions, they're giving them proper burials in actual graveyards. The question of grave robbing or archaeology is a really hard one, even when the people doing the excavating are doing it for good reason. So I'm gonna leave that question with you. While Lara Croft isn't actually a tomb raider or grave robber, Tomb Raider is an amazing name for a game, and I can't imagine calling the game what it is, violent archaeology, would have resulted in the same level of success. Actually, no, now that I'm hearing it out loud, Violent Archaeology is the best name for a game I've ever heard. What do you guys think? Should historical artifacts remain where they are, or should we put them on display for the public, even if that means completely destroying an ancient temple in Peru that no one's been in for thousands of years? Let me know in the comments, and I apologize for being absent for many a week. It's just been nutso in my life, but I'm back, hopefully now. Anyways, if you want to go check out my Patreon, you can do that and support me on Patreon and check out all the fun perks that I have. Patreon people, I'm gonna send out an email blast soon with the next Google Hangout video game thing and the first movie night that I promise is actually happening. And I keep talking about it and I keep not doing, but it's gonna happen soon. I promise. Anyways, if you haven't already, be sure to click right on my page to subscribe, or at least think about it.